Welcome both. It's great to have you with us today. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, David. And hopefully you can hear us okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. Just try Vera. Could we just try you, Vera, on the sound?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me fine?
Superb.
Good.
And the slides are ready to go as well, guys. So over to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Fantastic. David, can we see the slides as well?
Yep, slides are perfect. Thank you, Patrycja.
Excellent. Well, good afternoon to all of you. We're so excited to be here today and really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you all. And can I just say, what a fantastic session so far. Congratulations to all the presenters, excellent content. And we can only hope to be equally informative and give you some hopefully tangible takeaways from today's session in the context of services transformation using automation and AI in particular. So starting with quick introductions. On the call today from Team Unisys, you have our EMEA Service Desk Director, Vera Faludi, and myself, Patrycja Sobera, responsible for our global and user experience delivery organization. Quite frankly, we could talk to you about automation for probably about 2 weeks rather than 20 minutes, but we'll certainly try and give you an overview of how we have transformed our services organization with help of automation, what that means to our services associates, and how we have placed focus on skill set evolution whilst we automate that kind of lower value repetitive tasks within the service desk. And lastly, we'll focus on some key organizational change management strategies to help you drive that key outcome, which is automation adoption. So let me just quickly introduce Unisys to you all, because I'm not sure that everyone's aware of who we are. So we're actually nearly 150 years old and are a global information technology leader specializing in high security, high capacity solutions and services. Some interesting little nuggets of history for you. We're actually responsible for the first QWERTY typewriter from 1840s and the first large-scale digital computer, which was the ENIAC in 1940s. And at the time, we were actually known as Burroughs rather than Unisys. So our Unisys vision is to quite simply enhance people's lives through secure, reliable, and advanced IT solutions. And I think our organizational structure and locations very much enable us to fulfill that vision. Looking specifically at our services organization within digital workplace solutions, there are actually over 3,000 of us on the service desk across 13 locations now around the globe, which are placed very much strategically to allow us to embrace that follow the sun model. We have just over 50 nationalities on our service desk, handling 17 million client support requests annually. So a pretty busy team, continuously looking to better ourselves and deliver that true, seamless end user experience at every interaction. And in order to achieve that, there we go, we have a plethora of tools, and actually Vikas was talking about multiple tools on the market. These tools are at our disposal with automation ultimately at the heart of our service delivery. And these tools really give us the opportunity to shift left or shift best any repetitive lower value interactions by our AI-driven enterprise personal assistant, EPA, across our omni-channel interface, offering all entry points being voice, chat, phone, email, or web. And these EPA activities include things like user entitlement verification, ticket creation, status checks, as well as password resets and multiple others. As part of our InteliServe platform, we also use unattended and attended robotics process automation, which I know you've heard quite a lot about today already, scripted automation and machine learning. And as I said, automation is very much intrinsically at the core of our service delivery. And it really enables us to allow our analysts to focus on that more complex, more challenging technical support. With that said, I will hand over to Vera, who will cover that crucial aspect of any automation journey that all service desks out there needs to really consider, consider very carefully and invest time and effort in, i.e., how do we continue to evolve our analyst skill sets and experience and equip them to become that generation 2.0 of highly skilled technical resources and perhaps even knowledge workers building content required to drive resolutions through automation. Vera, over to you.
Thank you so much, Patrycja, for the great intro. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks a lot for joining today's session. So as Patrycja already mentioned, and as we already heard on some of the previous sessions, as AI and RPA takes on the simple tasks that are more administrative in nature and think of the previous manual email handling processes, think of password resets or how-to questions, it allows our service desk teams to start to move away from the routine transactional type of activities and really tap into handling more value-add complex type of cases. At the same time, there is also an experience coming up that our analysts would be asking us the very valid question on what is in this change for me? What is the benefit for me? And I also heard this question on previous sessions being quoted as a regular customer question too. So for this reason, transforming traditional training programs is a topic that lies very close to our hearts and is something that I expect many of you today on the call would be going through as well. So we thought that it would add value to share our experience and what is it that we are doing with this regard. So what we do from this aspect is that we gradually replace the traditional onboarding concept by an analyst bootcamp type of a solution that focuses on key processes, technologies, and even more importantly, it exposes our teams to our clients' business environment. So imagine sessions that are co-hosted with client stakeholders, imagine sessions that go beyond base IT skills, really deep diving into certain areas that are priority for that specific client. And also imagine sessions that whenever COVID allows would take place at a client location even. So the concept itself brings our analysts to a level 1.5 level from a knowledge perspective, but also more importantly, it creates a sense of belonging not only with Unisys, but also with the client organizations. And then the training journey continues further with steps as part of our service desk seniority training concept. The Service Desk Seniority Training Program at Unisys is a structured training program that brings our agents towards level 2 direction, deep diving into advanced technical and process-related topics. I have a personal favorite part in this series, and that's that along the way, the trainees are also tasked to work on an improvement idea with their mentors, which at the end they present to the leadership team. So that's an opportunity for us to hear some wonderful ideas coming from our analysts, and very often ones that our clients can benefit from. And then related to Patrycja's intro on Unisys and Unisys' portfolio, we offer a wide range of services. And there is something that we are very proud of, and that's that our service desk has efficiently partnered with other delivery teams within the organization, including endpoint operations, cloud and infrastructure services, service management teams who are looking after process management. And together we created a training concept that offers skill enhancement way beyond the traditional service desk scope. How you should imagine these sessions? These sessions do provide a lot of practical knowledge to our agents, hands-on experience. As an example, the training series that we run in cooperation with the endpoint operation teams, the trainees do have an option to create application packages in a lab environment, or some who are more interested in the service management direction, they might have the pleasure to jump on and host a mock major incident management call. And then the analysts would be returning to their day-to-day activities with their skills already enhanced, which obviously creates room for shift left opportunities. But also there is another big benefit of this training concept, and that is that it also helps us to create cross-team collaboration, to break silos, and as various people from various teams are working together. And also it creates an environment where we together focus on end user experience beyond the traditional roles. But the journey doesn't stop here. Patrycja, if you could please go to the next slide. Because along with training and mentoring and coaching, we also have to provide the team with the tools that are required to bring end user experience to the next level. One of the most important tools in the life of every analyst is the contact center platform that they use. And having a familiar and consistent interface is not anymore just an expectation that would come from our clients, it's also an expectation that comes from our own teams. So it really becomes essential for us that we provide our agents with a tool set that gives them the power to control their clients' experience. So we don't only provide the end users with the option to pick the device and the channel that best fits their issue, but we give the same to our agents, the ability to be able to seamlessly switch between contact channels during the interaction. And also the consistent interface, of course, helps us to reduce training times. It helps us to reduce admin time so that we can focus on more value-add activities. Being an organization, as Patrycja also mentioned, that supports in more than 20 languages with live agents globally, we also can rely on the tool capabilities to automatically detect languages and route the contacts to the appropriate agent teams. And there is also other examples beyond the contact center solution, like introducing merged reality solutions to guide the end users through resolving issues where the traditional remote takeover tools would not be applicable or would fail. And this also enhances not only the end user experience, but also the analyst experience. And just very quickly, Patrycja, if you could please move to the next slide. I would like to briefly cover our service desk ecosystem model, because this is the model that underpins our entire service desk delivery. And this is the model that makes everything that we talked about so far possible. So the concept itself consists of 4 pillars. It's knowledge management, data analytics, training, and quality monitoring. And all these pillars would interact with each other in a way that they give and receive input to and from each other, and they create a feedback cycle that then enables us to quickly adapt to changes, which we know is the only thing constant in our business, to do service improvements, but also to identify automation opportunities, tool enhancement opportunities, or opportunities to further develop our agents. So just to name an example, in terms of knowledge management, they wouldn't only look at the task of making sure that knowledge is available in an easily accessible form for everyone, but they would play an essential role in actively filling or automation opportunities logs, and also in certain cases, developing further AI use case scenarios. And just to also call out client data analytics, that actually is the heart of the entire ecosystem, as it is looking at data from various sources holistically. It includes volume evaluation, defect management to catch any recurring mistakes. It looks at opportunities to optimize our workflows, looks at end user sentiments submitted by a skillset service. It looks at mean time to resolve analytics to improve end user resolution times. And with that, I will hand it back to you, Patrycja, to cover a sample automation roadmap and talk about our OCM concept.
Great, thank you, Vera. Nice segue. So let me take you super quickly through our sample automation roadmap, focused on key improvement opportunities which allow us to drive up quality and focus on both volume and cost reduction initiatives. And this is very much tied to the initial ticket analysis we perform for our clients once we have client data, in order to focus on both quick wins and gradual scalable future progression towards that mature experience management to the right. So starting with quick wins aligned to ITIL best practices, we look at opportunities relating to the consolidation of service catalog, for example, streamlining existing processes around resolver groups, ticket routing, drive reduction of tickets coming via inefficient channels such as email, which Vera mentioned already, and ultimately want to increase self-service and self-help at this stage. We look at clients' data. We usually identify minimum of 10% of tickets which are classified incorrectly. And very often, just simply by reinstating best practice ITIL-aligned processes, we begin to drive improved quality, which really is a prerequisite to assessing and driving incident reduction. And that improved ticket quality is really foundational to further improvements and overall reduction in contacts, but also foundational so we can focus on building a robust guided knowledge repository, as well as create self-intuitive, self-service support portal for all the kind of how do I questions and referrals, which then ultimately will be supported by our AI-based enterprise personal assistant, in this case, EMEA, providing really the end user with not only knowledge, but also, again, the ability to self-serve and resolve simple queries and issues such as password resets or following up on a status of an open ticket. And as we move from that initial ITIL best practice and quality improvement focus, we look at triage, and more specifically triage modeling, to drive down delays in ticket resolution caused very often by incorrect assignments or resolver group ping pong. I guess it's a story of our lives in the service desk. where a ticket is potentially being passed back and forth between teams. And this is where we can actually drive the reduction of mean time to resolve and an increase of first contact resolution. Moving a little bit to the right to reactive automation. So this is where we identify those repetitive daily tasks that Vikas covered actually. You know, the tasks with the same resolution pattern, right? The same resolution component. And these can be handled via RPA or AI. We can look at things such as access rights, onboarding, offboarding tasks, back office administrative tasks, distribution list creations, I don't know, VPN connectivity issues, etc., etc. From experience, again, here you can expect to drive minimally 30% of tickets to that RPA level, and therefore remove that churn from current resolver groups and allow them to really focus their time on urgent issues, on complex technical issues, and again, increase first contact resolution and offer a much better end user experience. And as we move to the right across field engineering solutions, here we look at things like zero touch provisioning support, also merged reality, Vera mentioned already, and gradually being able to shift to a dispatch model, and ultimately with the aid of the right technology, be it virtual kiosks, merged reality again, we can start to reduce the cost of field operations as we increase the dispatch model over time. And of course, we need to ensure that there's no degradation of service with support from our organizational change management, which is really our next topic. But before I move to OCM, I just really wanted to finish on the experience management state, so the last stage to the right. With XLAs in the environment, so experience level agreements, measuring that true experience outcome, not just the sort of traditional KPIs and SLAs as we know them, we can focus on all aspects of the service and experience. Starting from device experience monitoring via UDEM tools. Again, there's a plethora of tools on the market, and intelligent self-healing endpoints, as well as the application monitoring through collaboration experience tools such as PowerSuite. And here we can focus on performance and sentiment and experience of using tools such as Zoom or Teams, which very much dominated our working life during and post-pandemic. So this will really allow us to provide that full picture as well as the user sentiment. Our mantra at Unisys is that we never really want an endpoint issue become a user frustration. And we think that through that proactive experience management, we're able to address issues before they become a support request to the service desk. So let me move to the next slide. So I mentioned organizational change management and just how important it is to focus on people in all activities involving change, and change such as introduction of automation and AI technologies. We know that without people, which includes our external stakeholders, our clients, as well as our internal teams, actually our services guys and resolver groups, the automation journey and ultimately its success will not be possible. And obviously, there we go. We want to maximize the benefit of any service improvement activity or service introduction by minimizing the disruption. And I think that's key word here, minimizing disruption by managing change well. In terms of deliverables, to support awareness and any kind of launch of new technology, we produce digital materials that can be easily understood, easily followed, that usually are designed to catch end users' eyes. And it's all about getting these new services and new tools in front of everybody. To do this, we might create multiple things really: digital posters, promotional videos, flyers, screensavers, save the dates coming type of messages, whatever we agree on in a robust and detailed communication plan. And then the next step is to create desire, promoting the benefits users can expect, and the what's in it for me aspect, which is hugely important. And these desire activities can be supported by, again, video messaging, podcasts, and often if required, and again, it depends on the organization, we can embed change champions in the business who support the key messages. And also this then help us gain feedback from that user base. So double benefit there. And when it's done, we start measuring the adoption and gain more feedback to address any pain points and close any gaps, and perhaps conduct more events such as virtual launch and learn sessions or did you know type of series. So again, this typical kind of organizational change management program and deliverables is our ultimate goal here is to really get to a destination where clients not only can confidently say, yes, I understand what you're trying to do, but actually, hopefully say, I'm actually excited about it, and I will continue to use this new way of working. I will adopt this tool, and this is ultimately where we want to land. Because again, we already said this today, and I think many presenters touched on this. This ultimately drives the automation adoption. And here is just a few examples of posters and flyers we did that actually really worked well. I'm sure this looks familiar to some of you. I'll let you just have a quick look, and I'll move to the next slide. Here is just an example of an OCM timetable for EPA specifically. As you can see, it's actually detailed. It's a very detailed roadmap, and I think it really cannot be underestimated. It has to be planned carefully and executed well. And we know we're pressed for time. So what I wanted to do next, and I know that we can't actually support the audio and the video, but we have a short video to show you, which I'm hoping is going to work. Let me see if that's going to work. So all you have to imagine is kind of really upbeat music in the background, and I'll let the video speak for itself. Enjoy. Perfect. Well, this concludes our presentation today. David, it was a pleasure to participate today. Thank you so much again for giving us the opportunity. I don't think we've got a huge amount of time for any questions.
Sorry, yeah, we've run over.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's fine. You know, I think we're sort of finishing relatively early in the day today, so I think as long as we're adding value, and that was extremely valuable. I think it was a fantastic overview of the service that you're building out there. It's really interesting. I've seen, you know, we've seen EMEA. It's a fantastic piece of technology. We've seen it implemented in other organizations, and I'm just wondering if, so this is just to get my head around this, right? This is an internal system, so this is, it supports Unisys staff. It's not a managed service, or you don't use it to support.
Both, actually, both, David.
Yeah?
Really good question.
Okay.
Both, absolutely. Yes. So we've got multiple clients, actually, clients of Unisys using this very successfully across their organizations. Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and again, you know, funnily enough, as you've seen, this technology develop. We showcased EMEA, goodness knows how many years ago now. We had it in one of the conferences, one of the UK conferences, probably about 5 years ago, I reckon, something like that. And then we started to see this drip of these, you know, of this thing coming into service. So I'm really interested in how long it's taken to develop and train the system. How long have you had that in service as a service, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, very good question. And I think, you know, timeframes are actually often something that we get asked about. So I think we have had EMEA for the last 3-4 years. Vera, correct me if I'm wrong. In terms of our clients, you know, using EMEA as part of their automation journey, I think one of the interesting points is kind of the implementation aspect. So how long does it take us to produce a sufficient number of use cases? And again, I know multiple speakers talked about it today, sufficient number of use cases so that ultimately at the kind of point of the launch, EMEA can make a difference. And I guess, again, you know, from my perspective, often the feedback is that actually at the point of the launch, you want to have, you know, at least 20 use cases, you know, through resolution, and then some additional self-help kind of material, so that it's not kind of seen as something that's not helping enough or helping too much, but just that kind of right amount, which I think is different for different organizations. So David, quite frankly, can take us anything between kind of 3 to 6 months, just depending on how extensive the demand is on the use cases. But what we've noticed is that the more we put effort up front, the better the adoption.
And is that so? I'm sorry, Holly's going to kill me right for these questions. I'm sorry, Holly. So when you're putting this together, is this an internal service? Have you developed the skills internally to shape this as a service that you obviously, you know, commercial organizations sell on, or do you have a sort of supporting supplier with those skills that develop for you? That's the first. Well, if you could answer that, that would be great, actually.
Yeah, of course. So it's quite simple, really. We have a partnership with the company called IPsoft, who are the creators of EMEA, but we have very much the internal solution development teams who ultimately develop the solution for ourselves internally as well as our clients. Absolutely.
Brilliant. Last question.
Sure.
Sorry, go on you.
Oh, I was going to say, and actually the fact that we have that internally means that, you know, Vera spent quite a long time talking about the kind of the journey of analysts upskilling and the kind of, you know, progression pathing, right? Career aspirations and all of that great stuff. And actually the fact that we have that solution development internally allows us to then, you know, utilize those great skill sets within the organization and build upon them, which is fantastic.
I think that's absolutely spot on. You know, we've seen some of the surveys earlier where people were talking about sort of people being aware of job risk and stuff like that, and the numbers there are so low. Always when we ask these questions, you know, I'm waiting for this sort of catalog, this sort of thing, dam burst to say, yeah, we're definitely going to lose all our jobs, you know, but it hasn't happened. Every time we ask these questions, and those skills, those transferable skills are the key to all that, you know, and people sort of learning. Last question before Holly kills me. How do you, so what KPIs do you have in place to performance manage EMEA with? How do you manage her performance?
Yes, very good question. Multidimensional KPIs, really. So, you know, starting from quality metrics. So we look at EMEA as just another agent. And you know, as you said, right, EMEA has been around for some time. She's also prone to making mistakes. So when we used our call quality scripting, I can't get my words right. For example, we assess EMEA in the same way as we would assess the analyst. So call quality, you know, things around successful resolution, right? So that's key. We're not actually obviously using EMEA statistics in our FCR, but we are looking at ultimately that, you know, outcome. Have we fixed something, or did we have to escalate to a human agent? And I think that's key, because again, depending on the use case, depending on the actual you know, various kind of avenues of how a support request can go, EMEA has to be able to fix something at first contact for that overall interaction experience to be positive, and really try and sort of avoid that human escalation. But we know that human escalation is not possible, so we measure, you know, how many are successful kind of resolutions that don't require human support versus the kind of escalation going forward, and multiple others. Obviously, things like average speed of answer, average handle time are very kind of unique, because, you know, there's no average speed of answer with EMEA, right? She's there, she's available, she's not dependent on Wi-Fi or, you know, I don't know, picking up kids from school. But as I said, the kind of the quality assurance, the actual quality of the fix, the fix success rate is key for us.
Excellent. It's funny enough, we're doing some work with an organisation as part of the certification program at the moment, where we're interviewing end users, yeah, a whole host, right, 60, 70, 100, whatever, many as we can speak to. And this organisation has also released EMEA as a service, and this is the first year that it's sort of come into a service that's actually working properly. Yeah, they've had it in development for a while, but it's first time, and the feedback that the end users are giving about their experiences with this solution is amazing, absolutely amazing, really, really amazing. So, you know, people saying, yeah, if I could use this all the time, I would. So yeah, I think it's great to hear that you've got that, you know, you've got that in place. I'm very interested in the way that you've built that, put together. Really interesting presentation. So thank you very much. We're going to move on.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, and hopefully we get a
much.
chance to do it again, guys. Right? Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Bye,
Okay.
everyone.
Goodbye. Thank you, guys. So first of all, I think I'm going to apologise to my next guest, Abhishek Bhattacharya. Sorry, Abhishek, we were behind a bit. Blame me. It's my fault. I managed the time very well. So let's